Shalom, y'all. Welcome back to OTH. It's Fletch, of course, and what we are looking at today is the Kobalt power speaker. It's not a job site radio, it's just a speaker. However, it does seem to be made with, the same nice, solid, glass-filled nylon plastic that the rest of the tools and the batteries that are made out of. So it does certainly seem to be a rugged design, shall we say. But again, this is just a first look review, right? This is a new product, it just came out. And so I wanted to do a first look review on this product for some of you that might be considering buying this, and to get my initial impressions on it and whether, for you it might be a go or a no-go. First off, a couple of things about it. This is a fairly feature-rich, in my opinion, power speaker. Very similar to other speakers that are on the market. Like this is a Skull Candy. These sell for about $70, $80, something like that. And this has Bluetooth, so does that. This has an aux in, so does that. This has a USB, so does that. And very comparable sound. Although I will say that, and you've probably heard me say it on a lot of these Kobalt videos, the engineers, in my opinion, on a lot of these products, they really thought them through well. As an example, the power meter is right there on your battery, and you can see it while it's in the tool. Job sites are noisy, so if you're going to have a little speaker like this, it's got to be loud, right? Because you got to be able to hear it. There's got saws running and people hammering and banging things and whatnot, and so this is a nice loud speaker, and it has good sound quality for a small speaker. Now obviously you're not going to have the same booming bass that you would have with a 12-inch bass reflex speaker or something like that, but as you hopefully heard in a little bit of the scorps there, that it's adequate, right? It does a good job, and it can get loud. It pretty easily fills my shop here. It's an oversized 3-car garage and shop, and it does a good job. The sound quality is good. A couple of the features on this speaker that I like is that when it's plugged in, if I'm listening to music already and it's plugged in and I want to take this with me and go work somewhere out in the yard and I want to take my tunes with me, if I've got a battery in here, I can just unplug the AC and it keeps playing. It's hot swappable. And likewise, right, if I'm out in the yard or whatever and I want to bring it back in the shop and plug it in, as soon as I plug it in, it will switch to AC, and then I can take the battery out, and I don't have to go through the whole repairing through Bluetooth and all that. It's hot swappable. And so again, some things that, in my opinion, that the engineers thought ahead on a lot of these Kobalt 24-volt products, and that is just one other example of that. A couple other nice features I like about this is when you first turn this on, if you turn the volume all the way up, you can hear that noise. Once you've heard that noise, you can control the volume with your smartphone. So if we turn this back on for a second, the volume control on my smartphone, in my case, it's iPhone, but then I can turn it all the way back up as well. So it's controlled through your smartphone. One other thing that I like about and this is kind of more of an in general thing than specific to this Kobalt speaker, but one thing I like about listening to music this way versus like a dedicated MP3 player type system is that if I get a text or a phone call, it'll mute the music so that I know that I've gotten a text or a phone call. And if I don't want to be disturbed, right, I can always put my phone on do not disturb, and then the only calls that come through are important ones from like my wife or my kids or something like that. And then it mutes the music anyways, just like it would otherwise. And so that's one of the nice features again that I like about this. Comparing the sound again to say like this Skull Candy I would say this probably has a little bit better bass sound to it, but it's nowhere near as loud as what this Kobalt speaker is. Now, having said that, right, loud is a relative thing, right? This is just a little speaker, right? So, you know, you're not going to have like, you know, rock concert loud out of a little speaker like this, but, you know, like I said, it's certainly loud enough that, you know, it'll fill up my garage space pretty easily, and you know, you can definitely enjoy your music, shall we say. Another really nice feature about this is just the battery size, right? You can go up to the 5 amp hour battery on this, and you could probably listen to it for, I don't know, 2 or 3 days straight before the battery went out. I've used this, you know, 2 amp hour battery in here, you know, all day before, and I think it only drained the battery about halfway, and you know, that's listening to it fairly loud as well. And so far I've been very impressed with this the Kobalt 24-volt speaker, and like you've heard me say before, you know, I think that they really thought a lot of these things through ahead of time in the design, like, you know, little things like this handle, right? So here's your carry handle, but then the carry handle also tucks away on the front here. So if you don't want it in your way, it's not, right? Because you got to take your battery in and out, and you don't want the handle in the way of your battery. So it tucks down underneath there. Just little things like that that I see in a lot of these Kobalt 24-volt tools impresses me. One other thing is, obviously this is also Bluetooth enabled. The range on it is actually really pretty good. I can be anywhere in my shop and still have range. Actually, I can even go outside the shop a little bit. It's a steel building, so, you know, obviously it's going to be a little limited, but anywhere in my shop, you know, I still have, you know, good range. One other thing that I like about this system is that it went off when I took the battery out because it wasn't plugged in, but is that it's charging your phone while it's hooked up. I don't know if you can see that there, but that's the benefit of this system, in my opinion. Another benefit of it, shall we say, is that if you're using the aux cable, you're not using the extra power drain of having your Bluetooth enabled on your phone, and then also it's charging while it's connected, and it's being powered through, you know, your big tool battery that you have here, rather than an internal battery like this. We bought this first initially, and it wasn't that loud, number one, and number two, it was only good for about 2 hours of work before it went dead, and then, you know, there was no way to charge it or plug it in where we were at, and so, you know, dead in the water. Whereas something like this, you know, you've got this big battery, well, it's going to last all day anyways, and even if it did go dead, right, you can just take another one of your tool batteries and put it in there, and you're back in the game, so to speak. Well, guys, if you have any questions or comments, as always, please post them below. Thanks for watching today. I hope you are having a blessed and wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.